Evening all, welcome back to Elite Dangerous. So, well, hopefully you saw last video. We looked at a nice, easy, simple way to make a lot of creditos. Certainly was, I think it worked for me. I mean, I'm sat in a Cobra Mark III, and in the space of probably an afternoon, maybe even less, because I didn't play for that long, because I did go and have a bit of a chucker in dust. I managed to basically secure a Cobra Mark III and about 100 grams worth of kit, so that's pretty good. And I did do a little bit of modification to it. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go and splurge a bit and fit this with some guns. Now I'm going to go to where I know there is a technology hub, which is Orzelius Primus. But I've got to admit, finding good gun systems is not easy. In fact, I know one, but it's not in range, bugger, which is the Nagoyan Gingjong Thing Plop, which probably sounded incredibly racist. If so, I'm so sorry. Basically, it was there's a few systems where you can buy guns, and there's a lot of systems where you can buy massive amounts of nothing. So it doesn't hurt to go to the the Google page, and just Google where to buy certain things. This is changing as well, so your ships are no longer pretty much sold where you think they were. So I think everything's changing, so just bear that in mind, because certainly the thing I found really difficult to buy is lasers and guns. They do seem to be just popping up out of nowhere. And I would have thought that most technology hubs would have sold everything, which is not necessarily the case, but you'll see what I mean. So as we kind of cruise towards Beagle 2, let's go and have a look at what they've got in the thing. By the way, can I just say, I love the fact that they used Beagle 2 as a station name. Beagle 2, for those that don't know, well, you should know, because, naughty you, was Britain's one attempt to land a rover on Mars. And to be honest, we might as well have just got a massive compressed air cannon and flung something at Mars in the vague direction of hoping to get it there, because it didn't work. But in true British style, I think we managed to maybe almost get to the orbit, and then I think as we dropped into the atmosphere of Mars, I think something went pop. So it didn't work, but hey, look, we got to try, ain't ya? And I think the worst thing about it is the media kind of ripped the guy to pieces. Colin Patson, was it? They ripped him to pieces, which I thought was a shame, because I always hate the way that we kind of slate a trier, somebody who tries to do something as wonderful as getting a British invention on Mars. Wow. And yet we just turn around and go, oh, it's never going to work, not us Brits, eh? We can't even get a bloody NHS working. And it's like, dude, come on, I was so proud of the fact that we even did it. And my favourite band, Blur, did a song that was going to be played from the surface of Mars back. So I always quite like that. And it was a very mellow kind of song. It wasn't a particularly rocky song, but it was funny because I always liked the idea of this like little bit of technology landing and all the Martians that I know don't exist, but hey, I can dream. They pop their heads out and all they hear is Song 2 being played like a massive ghetto through a ghetto blaster on the side of this pit of technology. And it's like, because that's the US, well, it was the US Army's unofficial recruitment song. So I always quite like the idea that Song 2 was blaring on the surface of Mars. But it's a shame, and I think this is what makes me quite chuffed about the fact that Elite as a game is obviously a very British game, because there's a huge amount of British influence in this game, Beagle 2 being one of them, and I just wanted to pay praise to it. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? They finally fixed Planet of Beagle 2, or whatever it was. Because that planet, every time I got near it, the rings made me jib out, and it made me like have some seizure as I sat in the cockpit. But now it's just simple, isn't it? It looks quite beautiful, in fact. It looks very pretty indeed. The planets actually are quite simple. I'm not slating it, I'm not having a go at it, I'm not slagging it off, but the planets are remarkably simple in their detail now, which I think will just mean that they're going to get better. And I love the gateway stations, like the orbitals. The orbitals, they're all kind of incredibly close to the surface of the planet, so it's obviously like a stepping stone out. It's a space station, effectively. But oh god, I love it. I'm really loving this game. I know I gush over it continually, and I can't help it. It's just so good. Is it worth buying? Yes. £50, $75? I think this is worth it. It really is. There is plenty here. This is no longer becoming a game, it's becoming an experience, which is which is so rare nowadays. I mean, you know, the Wii was an experience as well, but that was pretty bad. It was for bored housewives, and it was for your nan when she's, you know, had a few sherries and she wants to kind of, you know, show the underneath her skirt. She jigs about with a Wii controller in her hand at Christmas, embarrassing you all. Though that's pretty much an experience that I don't mean. Elite is an experience that I think is reminiscent of what it was. Yes, there's a lot of nostalgia going on here, but I also think it's just incredibly affectionately done. How many games can you say have had hearts and souls put into it? Now, somebody tried to tell me that Destiny had it. The developers of Destiny put their heart and soul into that game. And I think the ultimate answer to that is fucking no, they didn't. Excuse my language. Because it was evident they didn't. And I think, you know, when you look at certain games like Eve, when Eve was like at its heyday, you could tell that people were putting their hearts into that game because it was evident that they played the game, it was evident that they loved the game, it was evident that they enjoyed the game, and I think everything about it was just lovingly done. And I think that's kind of what I'm... God almighty, my ship is really, really wallowy, isn't it? What's going on there? And I think certainly... Where do I land? I swear it's trolling me. Look at that. Alright, I must be losing my mind. Do I need glasses? I don't see, I don't see it. Oh my god. I always seem to pick the most embarrassing type. It does make me look like a complete shuddering arse when I play these games, because you all must just be watching this now thinking, is he a bit special? And I think you're probably... In fact, was it there? No. Have I... What? Am I missing something? Number 6. No, I think... Oh, it's not me, is it? Whoa, oh, bollocks, it was me. Oh, flipping heck, that is embarrassing. Let's just pretend that never happened, yeah? Like the last video, let's just pretend that never happened. Thank you very much. Let's never talk of these events ever again. Oh no, that was it. Loitering... Oh, that was it. Okay, fair enough. So I was loitering. Anyway, so yeah, I think this game is definitely worth... Come on, go down. There we go. I think this game is definitely worth looking at now. Just the fact that you can do stuff like this, you know, having to dock yourself. I know it sounds such a chore to do, but you know what? It's fun. It's like a little mini game that actually you don't mind doing after a while. It is grindy to the point where if you make it grindy, it will become grindy. So I think you should try and look at doing other things generally all the time. But I would say the game as it stands is a real pleasure to experience, and I think that's really what I'm trying to say, is that there is something like an experience going on here. Another game that was like this was X Rebirth. X Rebirth was an experience because it was such a great grand story and idea, but the problem was it was kind of ballsed up at release. It was not particularly stable. It wasn't actually that interesting after a while, and I think they kind of balls that one up, so you know, big shame there. Anyway, look at this. So we got like proper turrets now. So I think if I look at this, that tells me that's a class 2 and that's a class 1. So first off, let's equip our class 1s. Now I think burst laser, gimbal, low heat, burst pulse laser, gimbal overcharged, burst. God, it's like 100 different categories. Burst laser, gimbal, overcharged, 1290. So I could probably buy 2 of them. And then I was going to go for the multi-cannons on the top, but I want class 2s for that. So I think, let's think. Pulse laser overcharged. I'll probably want low heat because I think actually they're probably better ones to use. So I'm going to buy those. We can always come back and fix them. I think at the moment that's my desire. So let's do the same again. So we got burst laser, low heat, gimbal. There we go. So buy, confirm. So now we've got obviously our 2 small lasers. So let's now fit. Hopefully we can get multi-cannons here. Now I don't think I can. Oh yes, I can. Multi-cannon, gimbal. But I need class 2. God, they're expensive. Oh no, they're turrets. Yeah, maybe I'm. Yeah, class 2. There we go. So yeah, I probably need to save a bit more. Which one would I go for? I mean, I want to try cannons, but I want gimbalized cannons, but I know you can't get them. Class 2 turret. That's a turret. I don't want turret. Yeah, there's no class 2s really, is there? Mine launcher. That's just amazing. Yeah, I think I'm kind of out of luck. Yeah, I think we're going to have to work a bit harder for that. So I think for now, let's just stick on multi-cannon, gimbal, scatter, spray. I don't even know what that means. Scatter, spray? Multi-cannon, gimbal, scatter, spray. With a signature. So what's its scatter? So all this stuff means something. So let's try and work it out. So power draw is obvious. Damage is obvious, I guess. Armor penetration, rate of fire. 17 a second. That's pretty good. Well, let's just go with it. By confirm. So gimbal, scatter, spray. Right, gimbal, scatter, spray. We're going to have to work a lot harder to get our type 2. But this is going to be a little bit small embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah, that's a bit embarrassing. That's not very phallic, is it? But let's do another one. So we've got multi-cannon, scatter, gimbal. So now we need to fit the same again, which was that one. There we go. So we've now, I mean, this is good. I like that it's a little bit kind of smaller scale. I'm not bothered about that. So I've got to work harder now if I want to get good guns. But that to me is a pretty good combat fit right there. Let's just see what else I can buy. So heatsink launcher. See, I like the idea of that. Frame shift wake scanner. That's awesome. Point defense. In fact, we're going to buy that. And we're going to have a bit of a play with that. Again, it doesn't really matter about trading funds because I can just do the bounty board mission. So, you know, I'm happy about this. I really am. Not going to worry about any of those. Could buy a point defense, but it's not that important. Bulkheads, nope, none for sale. And I think all of these, like reactors, there's nothing here, nope. And I'm just going to go all the way through. So I think what I might do is put my discovery scanner back on. Oh, I can't. Okay, never mind. All right, for now I'll leave it. But look, I mean, again, you'll be able to. Oh no, I could even take my shield generator off. Not that I'm going to, because that would be stupid. But as you can see, there's quite a lot there. I mean, that's pretty awesome, isn't it? So let's set up the group before we do it. So if I go back to station service, let's refuel all. Let's pick up a quick bounty mission. Let's see what we can find. So we're looking for basically for the big ones. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. So I can do that one. So I can carry 22 birches side, and I'll earn 51,000 credits from that. So let's accept that. Biatch. And then let's go to Dahan. Simple as that, isn't it? I mean, look, that's pretty much buy my next gun right there. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? So Dahan. There we go. And it's always, I find, generally only one system away, which is amazing. I think I've done one mission where I've had to do a double jump, but surely you guys are comfortable with double jumping now, right? As I stretch and reach for my cup of tea. I think it's got to be, you know, you've got to be comfortable double jumping. And I'll give you a tip. Whenever you do a double jump, so let's say you have to go from Erenin to, I'm trying to think of one, Bolg. What you do is when you find your midpoints, you look on your galaxy map and you'll know, and just draw on a piece of paper, Erenin, then the middle point, which is going to be something like Styx, and then type Bolg. So I know now in my head, and I've got a little bit of paper next to me, that says if I ever need to do that jump again, I know what system to use as my midpoint. And over time, it'll go to your memory anyway. So I know that, you know, from Erenin to Styx to Bolg is pretty much the route. So, you know, I think a lot of people put a lot of sort of weight on these planning systems or these jump systems or these websites that will give you that. You don't need it. Just work out in your head and remember. I know that's so patronising, isn't it? Just use the most powerful tool in your possession. Yeah, they're going to stop that because that could sound rude. So I think that helped me quite a bit. But to be honest, I got to admit, I just find that, you know, making money in this game, as long as you don't focus on one thing, you'll do quite well. So if, you know, what we'll do in probably the next video is I'll sit at a nav point and we'll do some combat again and we'll see how this rolls, because again I'm quite curious to sort of make sure that I make money from all areas of the game. Plus I want to get my harmless rating removed. It's a bit embarrassing having harmless. It kind of says, you know, it's like when you're walking down the street in the middle of the night and you see somebody across the road and, you know, they're not dressed in a trench coat looking mean with a hood on with a, you know, pointing at you with a scythe. It's quite the opposite. It's a tramp on the floor, passed out, urinated and pooed themselves. You know, it's that kind of thing, really. And I just want to be that dangerous guy. And I think elite is my goal. I want to be elite. That is definitely what I want to do. But I know getting there is going to be tough, and it's going to be thousands of kills. I mean thousands and thousands of kills. So I don't think I don't think you can expect to get to be elite just like that. I think it's going to take a lot of effort. I think it's going to take a lot of pain, struggle, misery, etc. But here we go. So let's just show you the cargo. So luckily by retrofitting this thing to have about 28, I think that was the maximum I could get, I can do these hauler missions. So 22 is obviously huge. Some of them are bigger, so you've got to bear that in mind. But this will give me, what, 50, 60k in a single run, and I think that is not to be sneezed at. I think the Cobra is better than the Viper because of this capability, the ability to do everything. It is the true multi-purpose ship. I don't really want to get a Lakon Type 6, and I think, while I'd love to have an Anaconda, etc., I think that's going to be something way off in the distance. Plus, if they're going to reset again at the end of October, which is a possibility, then I'm just not going to bother. I'm just going to stick with this wee beastie. Because I think, to me, I've always enjoyed the Cobra. To me, it's the kind of ship that I associate with Elite, obviously, but I think it's also the ship that can just do everything quite well. Obviously, the Viper's a better fighter because it's faster and it's got the same gun capability, but I think for me, you know, I do like that ability just to sort of wake up and think, if I want to do cargo and trade missions and things like this, I don't have to change my ship, which I don't think Elite does very elegantly. I think it does it quite badly, in fact. I think what a lot of people are saying, they want to own multiple ships, which I guess I support, but I'm a bit meh about it, because to be honest, it doesn't matter if you have multiple ships or not. I think it's more a case of keeping it smaller as possible. Maybe you could, if you had a hangar, that you could maybe just have one or two other ships in. That would be nice. You could have an Anaconda, but also get back into a Cobra without then having to go around the galaxy getting bits again to fit your Anaconda out. That's my only issue of this, because not every station doesn't sell every gun. It's frustrating that you have to kind of go faffing about to get your guns. Come out of warp, out of warp, out of warp. Come on, out of warp. Anytime you're ready. There we go. That was a bit scary. It's doing that a lot lately. I don't know what that is. See, bugs aside, the game is just so damn flipping good. I know I'm a little bit excusing of it. I know people who know my Dust 514 collection of work are probably going to be quite annoyed at that, because I am very forgiving of certain things with the game. Like, I understand it's a beta, so I'm not going to get too spurgy, ragey about it. But certain things, like when it kicks you, the worst thing I had was when I did make all of those bounties. I made about 50k worth of bounties in a Sidewinder, I might add. And I didn't get, I crashed and I lost them all, and it was like, oh, for flip's sake. And it kind of really, really, really wound me up, that did. But again, you know, I'm not too bothered about it. I think I'm quite content that the game, certainly with the one, you know, the beta fixes they've just done as well, are just excellent. They really are good, this little games company. And again, they're only down the road from me. I literally am not too far away from them at all. They're in Cambridge, which is nice. But I think, yeah, definitely, already I'm at the point where I would say this game is worth buying. I think it's a lot of fun indeed. So as I nervously land, because the last few times I've done this, I've been a bit embarrassing and I've crashed like a noob. Let's make our money. So there we go. Look, you know, it's going to be about 60k payday, this. Assuming I didn't get the wrong station. And there we go, like cargo. So let's just see, 35, give cargo. Boosh, 86. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? And if we look at the bulletin board here as well, look, there's plenty of quite high. Oh no, they're probably not. But either way, there's plenty of stuff here to do. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. Join us next time and we'll shoot some stuff next time.